Oh, that's much better. All right, guys, welcome. I had to come live right now. I just got interviewed by the Russians. Actually, I really did. The Russians television just came to my home. Actually, the film crew, and spent about 3 hours with me talking Bible prophecy, asking a lot of questions. They are very, very interested in the signs of the last days. They've been watching our ministry closely. They've seen a lot of our information we've brought forward, and they've very fascinated, and they wanted to know more about Bible prophecy, the end of the world, the coming of Christ, and what does it mean for Russia. So I did my best to help explain this, and I want to share some of that with you because some of it was actually one question was actually a statement made by Mike from around the world to me a couple weeks ago, back on June the 17th. Get this. On June the 17th, let me find it here. Mike from around the world asked a question, made a statement, I should say. He made a statement, and his statement was about Crimea. And I'll tell you about that in a minute, but first let me put a shout out right now for www.noblegoldinvestment.com. That's www.noblegoldinvestment.com. And guys, seriously, the 401k, your IRA, it might be in jeopardy, or there could be issues. Matter of fact, I just got some information today that Wells Fargo Bank is shutting down all personal lines of credit. No longer going to offer any more personal lines of credit out there. This is a gigantic piece of news. And what does that mean? Matter of fact, I'll ask Mike from around the world about that today. But you might want to ask yourself what's going on with your 401k or your IRA. And so here's the thing to do. Pick up the phone right now and call Colin Plume tomorrow morning at 877-646-5347. That's 877-646-5347. And ask him about a gold IRA. Now, if you do, he will give you, if you set up a 401k or a gold IRA, he will give you this beautiful silver, 1 ounce, pure silver proof. Incredible. It's a Liberty proof. See if I can get it to look right here. I'm trying to so you can see it, but it looks like the reflection is so bright. This thing is so bright that I don't know if you can see it. Anyway, it's beautiful, but I can't seem to tip it correctly. I really want you to know he'll give this to you for free. It's a great collector's item if you set up a 401k with noblegoldinvestment.com. All right, guys, here's what's going on. Unbelievable situation. On June the 17th, and Heidi's right now, she's going to finish the June 17th Thursday night broadcast that I had with Mike from around the world. And she's almost done with it. She'll be putting that on Patreon this evening, and you'll be able to watch it this evening. If you don't have your Patreon subscription, get it now, okay? Just go to my Patreon channel, Patreon, and they'll put it there in the chat room for you. And go ahead and get signed up on Patreon so you don't miss these exclusive analyzations of the interviews with Mike from around the world. The one she'll be posting tonight is from June 17th. And that was an incredible night, a tremendous broadcast. And Heidi takes the things that Mike talked about and breaks them down and researches them and puts all the links down for you so that you can click on the links and look at it yourself to understand what it was. Because Mike talks in riddles. He does it on purpose because of he has to be careful about not tripping over any classified information. He has to make sure he doesn't do that, but he gives us a lot of great clues that helps us, and we go do the research. Thank you. We just had a major earthquake, guys, just a few moments ago. A 6.0 earthquake has just hit Smith Valley, Nevada. It was only 9.8 kilometers deep. It was followed by a aftershock over in California, in Farmington, California. A 4.8 has just hit, and that one was only 8 kilometers deep. So two major earthquakes, Nevada, California, right now, 6.0, and then a 4.8. Smith Valley, Nevada, 6.0. Farmington, California, 4.8. Both of them extremely shallow, shaking things up right at the bottom of the Cascadia subduction zone. This is huge. Just happened. So keep a close eye on that. Now, I was interviewed by the Russians. They came to my home, and we had a 3 hours. They were here about 3.5 hours, I guess. The film crew was and the interview that I had with them was pretty remarkable. They want to know everything that has to do with Bible prophecy, especially how it relates to Russia. It is going to air on a documentary on Russia TV, and I'll let you know as soon as I get the date on when it's going to air in Russia. That's why I had to travel to get here. Okay, they said it was 6.2. Debbie Bartolo says the earthquake was 6.2. They've now downsized it, Debbie, to 5.9. So they downsized it now. It was 6.2, it was 6.0. Now they've moved it down to 5.9, but it's a very powerful earthquake that has hit in Nevada and in California, a second earthquake, 4.8 in Farmington, California. So we'll talk about that. Now, back to Russia. So the Russians interviewed me today here in my home in Florida, and it's for a documentary that will air on the largest television network in Russia. And so we'll let you know when that airs. We'll also get our hands on it once they're done editing it all, and we'll be able to put it on here for you. But one of the questions they asked me was, is Crimea sinking? Well, the reason they're asking that question is because of what happened on the 18th of June. But what's really wild is Mike from around the world made a statement on the 17th of June. He said, you might want to watch what's happening. He said, you might want to keep an eye on Crimea in Russia. You might want to keep an eye on Crimea in Russia. Well, the very next day, massive rain broke loose in Crimea. They're calling it the 100-year record flood. Okay. And it did tremendous. Now, Israel Hall's called me. Hang on one second. Okay. Israel, yes. How we doing? Yes, I do. 8 o'clock? Too late? Okay. That sounds perfect. I'll see you then. Okay, bye. Okay, that's Israel Hall. Okay, so here you go. 100-year record flood in Crimea. It happened the very next day on June 18th. A massive cyclone came in, and it rained then for 6 straight hours, unleashing a total amount of rain that normally hits in the town of Yalta. What would normally hit in a month hit in 6 hours, and flooding over the rivers. And the floods were and the people destroy. Here, I'm going to show you. This is a flood, a 100-year flood, they're calling it. Incredible situation in Crimea. All unbelievable. This won't happen in another 100 years. It's just unbelievable. The pictures I have here are just shocking. Again, I'll show you. They're just shocking. And what's weird is this happened the day after Mike said you might want to keep an eye on Crimea. you might want to keep an eye on Crimea. So, and so the Russians were asking me today a lot of questions about Bible prophecy. They wanted to know, what role will Russia play? Could I give them a prediction of what's going to happen in the world in the next 18 months, the rest of 2021 and all 2022? And I did give them some predictions of what I felt was going to take place. But you can see the devastation in Crimea was just off the charts. Catastrophic. It really was catastrophic. The damage was incredible. The water that came inland, the inundated in the Yalta's beaches in the Black Sea. You can see how the muddy water came inland, the flood waters up against the sea here. It just really was, and rescues had to be done. People were being rescued on the raging waters that just devastated everywhere. Nobody saw this coming, okay? They just didn't see this coming. It just caught the entire area of Crimea off guard. Now, we know that Russia has they took Crimea back. And in 2014, when Putin began to move in on there and sending in troops, and really there was no fighting, but there you see there's a bus, a mini bus there going underwater here, and cranes are trying to dig it out. This is what happened in Crimea, and this is just the beginning, guys. I think you're going to see massive flooding, and you're going to see this massive flooding. This is what Mike from the World said was going to start happening, that we'd see massive flooding all over the world in some places, but then unbelievable droughts in other places. Okay. So, and the Bible even says that in the book of Amos, that it will rain on one city and then not rain on two other cities. And so there will be this migration of people trying to figure out where they need to go to escape the raging floodwaters or the rising of the seas. Everybody is trying to figure out what to do and what's going to happen. Now, tonight, you don't want to miss it with Mike from around the world. You don't want to miss it, because we're going to talk about the rising flood waters. We're going to talk about the map. Now, this is a map I put out back on June 22nd. This is called the Doomsday Map. The Russians even asked me about this map. And when Mike, we showed this on television. We showed this on.
Did I tell you about earthquake?
Yes, I've already talked about it here.
Nevada,
okay. Big one. And the one in California hit right after it. And they're both very shallow and big. So this is the Doomsday Map. And I showed you guys this back on June 22nd. Well, Mike around the world, the very next day on his show, I think on 2 days later, on the 24th, came out with this map. And this is the map that is one of the models that the U.S. government uses. And this is the worst case scenario of what the United States, on the East Coast side of it anyway, would look like when the waters begin to inundate the world during a pole shift, which is coming. Well, we've asked Mike, could you give us more maps to see? People are asking, can we see the rest of the West Coast? Can we see Europe? Can we see Australia? Can we see some of the other parts? Now, we'll go back to my map, the Doomsday Map. If you want to know about the West Coast, just look at my map. It's not nearly as bad as Mike's. And there is no California. There is no Oregon. Washington State is half gone. There is no Nevada. There is no Utah, really. Okay. There's really not much of a Colorado. Okay, so I think that if that's the case, then you can imagine what Mike's map would look like. But we're going to get some info. We have asked him. He has told us that he's going to provide us with a map that he can share more with us tonight on hopefully the second half of the United States. You know, the West Coast side of the United States. We hope to be able to show you that tonight. Right now we're contacting Mike right now. Heidi's trying to track him down to see if he can send that on over to us so we can be prepared to show that tonight for you. And also, what about Europe? You know, everybody wants to know, and so we're trying to track that down. I just want you to stay. So we hope to have that tonight. So please don't miss this important broadcast tonight. Also, the Sand King. Mike said that we'll be talking about the Sand King tonight. So who is the Sand King? What is the Sand King? And what does that mean? The Sand King is walking. The Sand King is walking. He said we'll be talking about that tonight. So, and also I want to ask him about the assassination of the Haitian president. It was Americans that did it. What does that mean? What do you mean Americans did it? Which Americans? What Americans? And why would they be involved? Who funded it? Who sent them? Or who what's going on here? And now the entire nation of Haiti is in a state of siege. It's not even a state of emergency. It's on total lockdown, on total martial law, and it's under what's called a state of siege. What does this all mean? We're going to be talking to Mike from around the world about that tonight, as well as concerns about information with the banks, especially Wells Fargo. And also there's more information about UFOs. We've got some more information about that. There's just a whole lot we're going to cover. So don't miss tonight's live broadcast. It's going to start at 8. It's going to start at 9:30. Actually, it might start a little early. Might start 15 minutes earlier at 9:15. And we'll try to start at 9:15 p.m. Eastern, because I got a special thing for you as well. Israel Hall and his friend Jeff, the part of formerly Jacob, their album is done. And tonight we're going to make it available for you that you can purchase tonight. And because you guys have been begging me for it, so we're going to do it. But even better, these guys are going to be in studio, and they're going to be performing live in studio before Mike from around the world comes on to join us. So don't miss tonight's special Thursday night live, literally live, with formerly Jacob performing live and their new CD available, as well as then Mike from around the world, talking about the Sand King walking and the map and all the other things that are happening right now around the world. I tell you, it's getting really crazy. Don't forget also, as I said, they were here today for about 3.5 hours, Russian film crew. I was interviewed for a major documentary that they're putting out in Russia, in Moscow, on the largest television network in Russia. I'm excited about this. All Bible prophecy. It was all about Bible prophecy and the predictions and prophetic look at the end of the world. I'm very honored to be able to do that, and that happened today here. They filmed me here at home. But then, of course, next week I'll be in Branson, Missouri, and we'll be filming on July 14th on the Jim Bakker Show in Branson, Missouri. And that is July 14th in Branson, Missouri at PTL, or what's called Morning Star Studios there. But I'll be on the Jim Bakker Show for 2 hours, and you can be a part of it if you want to. You can be a part of the live audience. Jim Bakker said, Paul, if you want to invite your followers that may want to come to the studio and be a part of the live audience, tell them, come on. The door opens at 10:30. I think you need to get inside there by 10:30. 11 o'clock, the door closes, and it won't reopen after that. Please get there early so you can get a seat, be a part of the live audience for the filming of the Jim Baker Show, which I'm a guest, along with Derek and Sharon Gilbert also. So this is going to be the first time for me to meet Jim Baker. I'm excited about that. And Jim Baker even likes my music. He's heard my CD, The Journey, and has asked me to sing. Can you believe that one? Okay, so you might want to be there for that one. I'm going to do it. God bless all of you. I'll see you guys tonight. Don't miss it. 9:15 p.m. Eastern with Mike from around the world as the Sand King is walking. Are you serious? Are you serious? Are you serious? Tonight?